For a child, a house is a closed system. It's a space defined by predictable sounds, the hum of the fridge, the floorboards that groan in the same spot every night, and the comfort of knowing exactly who is behind every door. I was usually in my room with my Legos when the first anomaly would happen. I'd hear my dad's voice call my name, clearly and casually from somewhere on the other side of the house. I didn't feel afraid. I just assumed it was a prank. It was easier to believe my parents were being annoying than to consider any other possibility. When you're young, you look to the adults in the room to define what is normal. If something strange happens, you assign it to them by default, because believing a person is playing a trick is much safer than believing the house itself is making a mistake. My routine was always the same. I'd leave my room, walk down the hallway, and head straight for my parents' bedroom. But every time I opened that door, they'd look up with genuine confusion. They would tell me, quite simply, that they hadn't said a word. This happened every few days for months. A joke usually has a payoff, but this was a repetition without a punchline. Eventually, even a kid realizes that a prank that never ends isn't a prank anymore. When the people you rely on for the truth keep denying what you can hear with your own ears, the house stops being a sanctuary. It becomes a place where the rules of the world are beginning to fray. One night, the voice returned, and it was different. It was louder and more distinct than it had ever been, and it sounded like it was coming from directly inside my parents' bedroom. I decided right then to catch them. I didn't wait. I moved toward their room immediately, determined to open the door and finally catch them in the middle of the joke. I pushed the door open and saw them both sitting right in front of me. Seeing them in that moment should have been the end of the mystery. Instead, it provided the physical proof that everything I knew about the house was wrong. This is the geometry of that moment. I was standing here at the door, looking directly at my mother, when her voice called my name again. But the sound didn't come from her. It came from the living room, the complete opposite side of the house. That was the end of the prank theory. There is no way to play a trick when the person you are hearing is standing perfectly still and silent directly in front of your eyes. I was watching her lips while hearing her voice 50 feet away. In that second, the physical world and the laws of sound simply stopped matching up. A noise in the dark is scary because your imagination can fill in the blanks. But when you are looking right at the evidence and the logic still fails, you lose the safety net of reason entirely. I carried that memory for years, until my brother was diagnosed with partial narcolepsy. It was the first piece of real evidence I'd had since I was a kid. One of the symptoms of the condition is the presence of oral hallucinations, the brain misfiring and creating sounds, like a parent's voice, that aren't actually there. I went to get tested immediately. For the first time in my life, I was actually hoping to be told I had a brain disorder. There is a specific kind of comfort in a medical diagnosis. A broken brain is something we have a name for. It's a problem that fits within the world we understand. The results eventually came back. My scans and tests were perfectly normal. With that clean bill of health, the last rational door I had left slammed shut. My mind wasn't playing tricks on me. The voice didn't go away either. To this day, when I go back to that house and stay the night, I still hear it calling my name from the other side of the hallway. The real weight of the situation settles in once the science fails. You're left standing in a void where every logical explanation has been stripped away, alone with whatever is still calling your name.